and welcome to the show. I'm Jo. And I'm alone tonight by the looks of it.
No, I was muted, but I was muted in an unusual place. Ignore me. I'm Jordan.
How can you be muted in an unusual place?
Because I don't normally mute on Restream itself. Wait, can we get on with the intro? I'm Jordan, and this is why we find we're live on YouTube, Facebook. Oddly enough, we're not live on Warden Radio tonight because tonight is a visual stream as opposed to a talking stream. But more importantly, theoretically, we ought to be live over on Odyssey.
That was the greatest intro ever.
Shut up.
If you come here for serious conversation, we hesitate to disappoint you. But if you come here for a laugh, welcome.
The technical capabilities of this 3D printer may be in question after I couldn't even work out where I was muted.
Well, come on, this channel has the technical capabilities of a potato.
Hey,
but we have
Lamster has been upgraded. He's
yes,
now like
that's
a
true.
swift. He's now a swift ferret.
Ooh, don't make me visualise ferrets.
No, ferrets are lovely. Why? I don't understand why you don't like ferrets and weasels. I have a weasel in the garden, and for some reason, whenever I send you a bloody picture of it, you're like,
I told you they broke into my home, upset my cats, and frightened me. I don't like them.
Yeah, but they're lovely, friendly little things. They're just tiny and adorable.
No, it ripped up all my cat toys.
Good. The cat would have done it anyway. It was saving you to the acid.
No, my cats were kittens. They were all soft and cuddly and fluffy and gentle.
And then what happened? They grew old.
And then this big evil maniac came in through the back door.
They grew vicious.
And frightened the living daylights out of them. They ran upstairs and it just ripped all their toys to shreds.
How on earth are you calling a weasel, which is amongst the smallest mammals?
Bigger than a kitten.
It's not bigger than a freaking kitten. Look, there's a GoPro right in its face and look at the size of it.
That's a tiny one. The one I
It's
saw
not
was
a tiny one.
much
It's the size
larger.
of a weasel. There's all weasels are this size. They're minute.
Well, it's like a snake with legs, okay? It's just wrong. It's an aberration of nature.
A weasel riding a woodpecker.
Okay, that's actually cute. That's adorable.
I approve.
It'd be more adorable if it falls off.
No, you leave that little weasel alone. It's just a content, happy little thing. You'd leave him be.
Anyway, yes. So, getting back to the serious business of tonight's show. This is part one of the community project, which is building a 3D printer. Thank you, everyone who has joined us. Thank you for your support. And I'm going to basically hand over to Jordan now. If anyone has any questions, if anyone has any comments or suggestions they think will be helpful, please drop them in the chat. I will make sure Jordan sees them. Just a quick reminder, if anyone does go onto YouTube and engage with the super chat process, we may or may not see it. So if you do it and we don't call it out, apologies in advance. But we're obviously,
you know why?
We're watching all of our comments from all of our channels via one platform. But we do have fantastic mods in tonight. I know that the mods will be on it. So yes, apologies in advance if we miss it. If you do have a question specific about this, if you could start it with @Jordan, that would be fantastic. More likely not to miss it if you do that. So without further ado, Jordan, over to you.
Indeed, I'm just opening up my file because my file has all the information in that I need.
That's I'm not quite ready music.
Yeah, basically that's like the holding music that you get when you're on the phone to the doctor and you're there for an hour. If you're lucky.
I've always said that awful hold music they used to have at the DWP should have been Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent, shouldn't it? Or Money by Pink Floyd.
Why are these things always so much louder than the actual phone call?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter who you're phoning. They are deafeningly loud. They're absolutely horrific.
Most hold music is obnoxiously loud, actually.
It's like royalty-free bloody music they managed to capture back in the 1840s.
On the bright side, though, if you have a speaker option on your phone, it's so loud, you don't have to keep the phone on. It's that first moment, isn't it? You've got your ear to the phone, and this music blasts out, absolutely murders one of your eardrums. But at least you can put the phone on speaker and just move away from it, and you can still hear that damn music. It's so loud.
Right, for some reason, I can't share my thing directly, so I'm going to have to do it this way around. I'm not a fan of this. This is a little bit sketchy, but it's okay. We'll work it out. Anyway, can everybody see this?
Yes, we can. You might want to zoom in just a touch for anyone on a smaller device, if you can, please.
Oh, flipping out 1 minute. I can't use that to move it around.
That's better.
Oh,
Thank you.
Little out. There we go. Right, now everything is there. Good. So, this here is what I've been working on. The aims of this thing, as we went over yesterday, we want a 3D printer that we are all going to be able to use. A part of this, we need to define how it is going to be, and I think it's important that the thing is actually functional. It has to be large enough that it's useful and quick enough that it isn't a hassle. There's so many bloody things. We all have things like this. We get something, we really like it, but setting it up is a pain in the backside. Or the general process of using it is a pain in the backside. And it's such a pain, it's a deterrent from using it. And you don't want to use it. So that's what this is. I want saying that it's functional and large enough. We need something as well that is flexible, as it says. I'm quite interested in turning this into a CNC machine or laser cutting and things of that variety. I'm not sure how possible that's going to be, but we're going to find out. Quality, obviously, has to be better than insert your favorite nation here. The design criteria itself has to be a large bed. There's a number of them that give you the world's tiniest bed. Oh, bloody hell, didn't mean to give you that weird headache. There's a number of them that give you the world's smallest bed, and they're just obnoxiously small. I'm going to go find an example.
While you're doing that, I actually forgot to say hello to some people, so I'm going to quickly run through now and do it
By all means.
very quickly. So can we say, first of all, thank you everyone for turning up. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the early birds in the chat now. The first one, of course, is English Bird. So good evening to you. Good evening to English Will Sir Francis. Good evening to... Oh, sorry, it's stuck a bit there. I don't know why. Good evening to Andrew. Oh, this chat. It flicks up, it flicks down. Sometimes it stalls. It always works in the end. Good evening to Vegan Dog. Good evening to... Oh, it's really playing up tonight. Son of Max.
It's perfect for me.
Well, of course it is.
I have a lovely time.
Good evening to Philomena. Good evening to Tash. Johnny Not Pal. Who else is here? It just keeps staggering on. I don't know why. Good evening to Stephen. Good evening to... For goodness sake. Good evening to... For goodness sake. Thank you for joining us.
Xanth and Sarah.
Look, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
But don't steal your thing.
I don't know. It seems like I'm the one with potato internet these days. You stole it, damn it. Good evening to Daffyd. Good evening to EVCG3. Thank you for joining us. Good evening to... Getting there. My God, this is so slow. It's rolling backwards and forwards for some reason. Good evening, Jonathan. Good evening, Sarah. Good evening, Will. I don't know what Sarah's bacteria comment was. Good evening, Xanthia Hill Pooch.
This is amazing.
Good evening, Michael. I should have done this earlier, really, and I should just let all you latecomers just go without, shouldn't I?
Tough cookie.
That's it, we're done. Oh, my stepdad's not me. Just made it. There you go. Good evening, everyone.
You were lucky Joe managed to see it. Anyway, share the other tab for me. And hashtag. There you go.
Hello. No one else for cutting you off.
As I was saying, there are some beds like this, for example, and like that bed is obnoxiously tiny. What are you meant to do on that? I can understand if this is what you want to do. You want to do fun little projects, like little game pieces, things like that. 10 out of 10. This is amazing. That's not what I want to do, though. I want to do larger things. I want to do intricate things. I want to do technical things.
Quick and important interruption, sorry.
Indeed.
Sarah, apologies. Called you Sarah. It's Sarah. I can see that it's Sarah. I'm so sorry.
To be fair, I said Sarah.
Well, there you go.
I can't read.
There you go. He does like to make stuff up. And made in Cornwall, just made it in there. So anyway, back to it.
Unfortunately, when I read things, as has been discussed before, what I do is I look at the beginning of the word, I look at the end of the word, and then I just make up everything in the middle. It's like, yeah, that's good enough.
It's true. He fills in the blanks.
9 times out of 10, I am correct.
That's true. You do get away with it most of the time.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
One of the things about this print bed is I would like it to have the Z-axis, which is the base. So I'll rephrase this. I would like the base here to act as the Z-axis. So that's the part that's going up and down for a number of reasons. When you look at this one here, the majority of them are built this way, and I can certainly see why. It's much, much, much simpler if you have the base act as the y-axis, which is going back and forth. The problem with that is, look at the amount of room this takes up.
Yes.
It takes up roughly twice as much room as needed. We can probably work it out, but basically, in order to get to this edge here, directly under the nozzle, it would have to move almost all the way off of the bed in the first place, or off of the central point. So that's going to be taking up a heck of a lot more room than if this was stationary, or if the base was stationary or moving up and down, and going from there. This would all be usable space. Instead, it's kind of wasted.
So I have a question based on this. I thought that 3D printing was about layers.
Yes. So that's how it works.
So if you remove the left, right, and front, back, then you're not going to be able to get all of the layers covered. Why would the up down be necessary? Because if you're layering, you could use a flat bed, couldn't you?
Because then you're only going to get one layer. You'd have no way of moving it up and down to get more layers on top. The way that 3D printing
worked. Sorry.
The way that 3D printing works, it's an additive process, as opposed to something like machining, which is a subtractive process, which is basically fancy, and you can work out exactly what it means by the words themselves. A subtractive process, you start off with a large lump of material and you scrape away at it, and it all disappears until you end up with what you want. Yeah. Additive, on the other hand, is the exact opposite.
Yeah,
you start with nothing.
I don't understand how. Can you find a quick video showing something being made in the way that you would like to have this machine work? That might be easier.
I might be able to, but even so, the general principle, you can work out the general principle. Right? You've got the base. The base part would move up and down as opposed to these which move in and out. I will attempt to find a video on it.
Okay, great.
But the reason for this is it is basically it's space saving. Because when you look at this is far larger than anything I would like to build. But when you look at this, you can see that he's got all this room where he's able to print. And the base itself is moving up and down, or the hot end, the extruder is the bit that moves up and down. I would say, looking at this, that it is the hot end that is moving up and down.
Thank you very much for that, Tash. Much appreciated. And I just want to bring up this comment from Roy. Just for the record, my name is Roy, pronounced awesome. There you go. You are awesome, Roy. Because if it weren't for you, we would not be live streaming on Odyssey. So thank you so much.
We didn't realise that's how it worked.
We looked high and low for information, and we didn't realise that it was as easy as you said. So there you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Carry on, Jordan. Sorry.
Keep talking. I'm trying to find a video quickly.
Yes. So how is Odyssey going? As this is our first ever stream live on Odyssey. Any issues? Is it buffering? Is it smooth? Monty saying England, Africa versus Scotland. Is there a game on tonight?
I think that's Friday.
Oh, I've stopped watching the football since the England team
Oddly
became
enough-
unrecognisable.
Oddly enough, I'm struggling to find a video which shows that off properly.
Oh, maybe we can set one up for the next stream.
I might have got one.
Oh.
No. Okay, but you know what, Joe? You threw me a curveball. It was very, very unfair, very rude. I will look into it, and I will find it for the next one.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see for the next one because then you can sort of visualise the end product, as it were. So,
well, if you just close your eyes, if you close your eyes, you can work it out.
Oh, thank you for confirming, Tash. Appreciate that. So Odyssey seems to be going well. Touch wood.
Good so far. Right, now, this is what I'm on about. This is the sort of thing we're going to attempt to build. This is known as a CoreXY configuration. This is, I think, the best way to get what we want to get. So a large bed space, highly accurate prints, and the hot end, the extruder, this part here, it's kind of hard to see in that picture. I'll see if I can find a better version of it. But that is the bit that moves left and right and back and forth. Here it is. This actually probably gives you a much better idea of what's happening. As you can see on this picture here, it is going up and down on these rails here. So that's getting you your y-axis. And then here, here is the x. This here is where it's going back and forth. And this part, the bed, is going up and down.
Can I just bring up a comment from David? David has managed to put into words what I tried to say. And it was basically this. Still don't get why the base would need to go up and down when the nozzle does. If the nozzle is completely flexible.
Right, I've misunderstood what you said.
Yeah, well that was... yeah.
All the nozzle would do is go left and right and back and forth. It wouldn't go up and down. The nozzle is fixed in terms of the up and down part.
Right, okay.
My apologies. I didn't fully understand what you meant. I was sitting there thinking, Joe, what are you...
I did kind of...
Is your brain working?
I did kind of dribble that comment out. I did dribble that comment out. Thank goodness for David, who made it make sense. So thank you for that.
The reason I've settled on this design as well is because it's a little tiny bit tricky to tell, but there are two motors that move this back and forth, and the way that they work is basically like an Etch-a-Sketch, or whatever the hell they're called.
Etch-a-Sketch.
Etch-a-Sketch, thank you very much. They work in that sort of way. If you turn one motor, it just goes in a diagonal. So you have the two bands kind of working against each other. It is quite interesting. I'll see if I can find a video on how that part works.
Have a comment from Made in Cornwall. What is the red reels made of and does it melt? I think that was going back to the last picture.
That would be the filament.
Yeah.
1 minute. Back we go. Keep going.
I'm sorry, that's my fault for being so far behind on the chat.
Tisk tisk.
Tisk tisk indeed.
There you go. There's the red. Oh, flipping out 1 minute. You didn't want to show me. There you go. The red reels, filament. That is what you're melting.
Right. There you go. So I hope that answers your question, Made in Cornwall. English Will says, restream comments in the future, just an idea. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. You can clearly tell my brain isn't working this evening. Jordan, do you understand?
No.
If you can elaborate a bit more for us, English Will, that'd be great. Thank you. No, it wasn't Roy. Sorry. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there are any other questions before we carry on.
Rory apparently has one.
Yes. Will Jordan be 3D printing firearms?
No, because it's illegal.
Yes. In fact,
come on, we have to be reasonable and sensible.
We found a story earlier, actually. Someone got arrested, didn't they, for having just the file. Mm-hmm. Didn't even create anything.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. What's the point?
Will is asking, is this design with the moving nozzle better for maintenance or repair?
That is a very interesting question. I don't think it matters in terms of maintenance and repair. As far as I'm aware, the only thing it really does is enables the print to move quicker. Well, so enables the print to move quicker. It enables the extruder to move around quicker. In terms of maintenance, I think there's something a bit weird about this, and I'd like Stephen's input on this. Everything I've read, they keep saying about how it is more difficult in terms of belt tension. They keep going on about bloody belt tension, and now it's difficult to get the belt tension and keep it at the appropriate tension. So far, I'm yet to see any designs with this where they use a belt tensioner, and I can't work out why. Maybe it's just because I'm thinking of cars, but as far as I'm aware, everything that involves a belt has a belt tensioner, apart from this.
Ben Mew says, if you want something similar, get a RAM set.
I'm not sure what that is. I'll look it up.
I have no idea what that is. I've also got a couple of other comments. Hasdak has suggested catapults. I imagine they could be made. And crossbows. This is a really good comment from Made in Cornwall as well. Why do we need more plastic stuff? Sorry, not sure. That's a really good comment. We don't need more plastic stuff.
No, we need prototyping.
While the original concept of 3D printing was to print with plastic, you can actually modify these machines to print with various other materials. And one of the surprising ones was wood.
I'm interested in the 3D printed wood.
Yeah, so while it's layered, you can, of course, finish it by hand, and you can make some amazing stuff. And the 3D printer, as Jordan just said, is to create prototypes so that people can design things and make things that need a case or need a part that they maybe can't get, that's incredibly expensive, that isn't kept in stock, that is just hard to get hold of. So that's the purpose of this. But it was never about plastic. It's just the reality that 3D printers are so incredibly modifiable to use other materials. And any plastics used would probably be sort of training time, if you will, to get the hang of it, to play with the designs and so on. Sorry.
As Will says as well, it will be really bloody useful when it comes to casting metal. Because here we're going to have a perfect negative. We will then just need to pack clay around it. Done. And that's going to become extremely, extremely helpful, I think, going forward. Because one of the major issues when it comes to casting, like casting aluminium or casting iron, one of the issues is creating the mold that it is meant to go around. Like getting the green sand and all of that, nice and easy, no worries at all. Actually putting the thing inside it, the negative, inside, and then packing the sand around it, that's the difficult and costly part. So in the future, we're definitely going to be doing some metal casting, because I'm going to have, the bulk of what you need to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have the ability to create the negatives and then go from there. I'm actually quite interested to see what sort of things we'll be able to cast.
I am. I'm very interested in what this machine can do, its potential. Very interested indeed. Just going back to English Will's comment, I understand what he means now. There is a function to have all the chat appear. If people behave themselves, we can give it a try. Unfortunately, it does take up some of the screen, and while we're looking at stuff, it's not really applicable. But maybe once we're at the building stage, we can have the chat, just all of the chat running up the screen, so everybody can see what everyone's saying, no matter which platform they're on.
Bondor has it. This is why we fight Foundry. Now we're talking.
Oh, yes. So thank you for that, English Will. We will do it. It's just not applicable. It's going to take up some of the screen, and we can't see the stuff Jordan's looking at while he's sort of making the list of parts that he needs. John Not Powell says, I thought plastic was being banned with everything else the West invented. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? And yet 3D printers. Yes, there's Will's comment that Jordan mentioned earlier. Daffod is asking, will it be easy to make something out of not extruded plastic to change to epoxy type stuff? I
They
quite
do
like the idea of
have.
using acrylic and things.
They do have a. What's the word I'm looking for here? I'm not sure if it's an epoxy. I'll try and find a picture of it. There is a form of it they can do, and it produces incredibly accurate 3D printed things, but it isn't 3D printed as such. What they do, by the looks of it, is they put the epoxy into a jar, and then they'll shoot a laser through it. And they'll shoot the laser through it at various strengths, and that will start to set the epoxy in a certain area, but not outside of it. It's very interesting.
Oh, English Wolves popped a link in the chat. I don't know if you want to
I can
have a
one
look at
second.
that.
Here it is. This is certainly something you can do. It will not work on the type of printer that we're building. But as you can see, they are incredibly detailed, incredibly accurate. There you go, Resin 3D, that's what it's called.
And as Roy says, it's possible to recycle plastics. You can buy recycled filaments. This is the thing. When we talk about make, do, amend, it's not just a glib phrase. It's the fact that we need to really keep reusing goods if we can. And throwing things... I mean, landfills just offend me. I know that there are some things that can't be recycled, but there's a hell of a lot of stuff that we throw out that we just don't value, that we don't repurpose. And that is the purpose of this, is to repurpose those things. Just want to quickly mention as well.
By all means.
From Sarah, sorry. Now, look, that's Jordan's fault now. Sarah, we're so glad that you're back on course, and we're very glad to have you here in this community. So don't be a stranger. Really good to see you. Will says, I probably shouldn't admit this, but I love plastic crap. I'm a gamer. And Ben Mew says, whenever working with plastics, read Estra Generation beforehand. Ooh, what's that?
Andrew has mentioned this a number of times. I do mean to talk to him about this and find out a bit more, because he mainly goes on about it in terms of food, and I don't particularly understand it.
I don't know anything about this subject, so I'm going to be quiet.
Dissident's comment now.
Oh, my stepdad's not mean. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a very good evening.
Indeed. See you later, mate.
Dissident 101. Yeah, what the hell. Africa now 3D prints mud huts. Well, you know, if you're going to go with technology, you know, making homes of the future is the way to go, isn't it? Oh, English Birds come up with a good one. We can print teeth, save on dentist bills. There you go.
I see no reason why not, to be honest.
Print some dentures. all you need to do is buy some molds, have people send in their mold, and yeah, there you go. Someone could make a fortune.
As I was saying, one of the aspects of this, I was looking into this, and up until earlier this afternoon rather, I've been quite content to use this stuff. This is extruded aluminium. Nothing wrong with it. It's also known as V-rail because it's a little bit tricky to see, but there is a tiny little V-notch cut into these.
Oh, this is the kind of thing...
That kind of gives you a better picture.
This is the kind of thing that IKEA use for their cupboards.
This actually has a ton of uses. There's a couple of things I need to build, and having seen this and seen the price of it, it's bloody cheap. It's really cheap, and it is quite strong. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. I'm going to start building stuff out of this. It just looks perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks really bloody good. But anyway, as I was saying, You can see here that there's a tiny little ridge going along inside it. That is where it gets its name from. That is the V part of this. And the way that it is used, in terms of 3D printers anyway, you add in a gantry, which I cannot find suddenly. Where did you go? There you go. Something along these lines is what you add onto it. And it just kind of sits within the rails and it slides up and down and all the rest of that, and all is good. And that's where it was going to stay. Until earlier on when I was looking around and I came across another 3D printer. And it was the one that actually gave me the idea of this this CoreXY configuration, which I spoke about earlier on. And they use linear rails. And I was kind of put off of linear rails because of the cost of the damn things. They are really, really pricey. Like, they can be insanely expensive. And I know a little bit about them, and I know they're extremely, extremely accurate, but 3D printing, while it is very, very accurate, you are limited by the process. It's one of those things where you can make the frame and all of that as strong and secure as you feel like. Ultimately, you're still effectively pushing a liquid out of a small nozzle and hoping it hardens in time. It isn't the world's most accurate process, even though it is very, very accurate. There is a difference between precision engineering and then just something that's pretty damn good. And this falls into the category of pretty damn good. So I was kind of put off of linear rails anyway because they're expensive. I then did some searching, and I would like chat to help with this as well. I came across a company. Let me see if I can find the link to it. Can I find the link?
While you're doing that, I've got a few comments I want to go through. Benmu qualifies his statement by saying it's the thing that makes plastic smooth, leach into your skin on touch. That's the estrogenetics that he was mentioning. We'll have a look into that. Thank you.
Yes, we will.
Made in Cornwall says, can you print a plastic pound shop Rod Mullins, who says we all should have the jab? Oh, what a lovely man he is.
That is the man from, not Del Monte, unfortunately. That is the man from bloody the Rod Stewart lookalike, isn't it?
Yeah, pound shot Rod Stewart. That's the one.
Yeah.
Johnny Not Powell says, done a fair bit of epoxy resin work over the years. My missus got into it. We found it to be a bonding experience. But oh yes, barn door. There's a good use. It was used for partitioning offices. And when we say offices, of course, what we mean is 4 boards in your little rabbit hutch in an open plan office. But they're too cheap to actually build walls. But yes, that's a major use of it, I think. And also the boards and things they have at train stations, I'm sure they use those. You know, where they slide the thing in.
I think they do, yes.
So it's essentially the metal version of how the fences used to be made with concrete, where you would carve out a niche and your then fence would slide in it and it would grip either side. Okay, just catching up. Let's see if there's any other questions for you before you continue. Thanks, Jonathan. Jordan, it looks far too complicated for me. I'm glad you're doing it, not me, love. Brilliant.
Hey, just you wait until we get the soldering kit out. Oh, then we're going to have some fun.
Just wait till you start 3D printing your spuds. Oh, there's a really good one from Roy. Jab armor. We did think about doing sarcastic masks, but we won't buy into the mask thing at all. So if anyone has any ideas for things that we could wear or carry to protests and things like that, that's an idea. Yes, another good point from Will. It's good to avoid microwaving certain types of plastics because they can put chemicals into your food. Make sure it's microwave safe. There are, what's that phrasing now? Something free. I can't.
P something.
I can't remember. Anyway, there's a specific mention of a chemical. It's B something. Oh,
B is like a P. BF something.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, the point is you can get plastic that is safe to be around food, allegedly. I haven't looked into this. BPF free. I'm sure that's it.
That's it, BPF.
But either way,
Look, I said it had a P in it.
Yes, just be very careful when you are using plastic around food. If you have glass, BPA, thank you. Close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Good old
Jeez.
Andrew. Yes, BPA free. Again, these are industries and they're all about profit. So I don't know how much I personally trust. I'm not casting aspersions on the whole process, but I'm saying for me, if I'm going to reheat food, I will use glass. And yeah, there you go. Roy, if only LGBT free. Maybe it's sometime in the future. Oh, bless you, Daffyd. Says, anyone remember Jordan's joining the wires vid? My God, he's come a long way.
Those wires are still held up. They're doing well.
Bandor says, I'm only allowed plastic cutlery. Oh, we'll make you something. Ben Mew says,
I can 3D print you a spoon, or I could whittle one.
Silicon is your only option. I do believe there's a silicon shortage, is there not?
Not that sort of silicon, no.
Ah, okay. Hasdak is suggesting riot helmets and truncheons. I don't know what the law is on truncheons.
Not allowed them.
No.
No. Well, of course you're not bloody. You could hit someone with them.
What about a baseball
Can't
bat?
allow. No, you can't have one unless you're playing baseball.
What about defrosted but previously frozen baguettes?
Hey, look, as far as I'm concerned, that's food stuff. I cannot find the appropriate link. All I can find is this one. If somebody has a link to Reliabot's actual website, I'd be very, very grateful. I can't find it.
Ooh.
Seemingly all they do is sell on Amazon. But that's for a conversation in a moment. I was talking about linear rails and all of that jazz. Linear rails are much, much, much more accurate than V-slot and all the rest of that. I would like to use them. The cost of them are prohibitive. If we can find them via someone like a Reliabot, or hopefully not on Amazon, but if we can find them nice and cheap, we will definitely use them. If not, we go with the alternative, which is not linear rail, sorry, which is
the V-rails.
V-rail. Thank you very much, love.
I just want to bring up this comment from Johnny Not Powell. It's actually a really good comment in reply to Jonathan, saying that the gear could be used to remotely water a crop. You could set up a system like this, couldn't you? And actually have it run along your allotment or your garden. Potentially.
What, you mean the rail?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, yes, 100%. Definitely.
Plastic baguettes, yummy, but no. Blood-stained wooden cutlery, nice. No, Roy, no blood. We hope not. Anyway, well, that would be the whittling show.
What about steak? What about steak blood? That's different.
Oh, that's true. Blood. That's true. Rolling pins, yes, could do those. Absolutely. But I know that Jordan wants to work with a lathe at some point as well. So yeah, things like rolling pins and salad bowls.
Metal lathe.
I thought you wanted a wooden one as well.
Well, if you have a
wooden one,
you can easily just shove a lump of wood on it, can't you?
I mean, it's not a wooden lathe; it's a wood lathe.
Hey, they used to have wooden lathes. You leave them alone. Where was I going? You've.
I'm sorry. You were talking about the efficacy of the linear rail versus the V rail, and then I interrupted by saying that.
And then I was going to move off of that onto something else.
Sorry.
The motors, that was it. The motors was what was up next. I will look around. Sorry, I will look around more for this linear rail. I definitely want it to be made out of this, as opposed to the V rails. Might be a bit expensive, but we might be able to work it out, or we might be able to find it off of eBay or something.
There's a comment here from Beer Hall Pooch who says, serious, if Jordan gets a printer, I can put some work his way. That's the point, is to create this thing and then use it to benefit our community. So, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for that. I would very much appreciate it.
Oh, Made in Cornwall is asking for a bit much. That's not the one I meant to do. Sorry, Colonel Custard. I want a cob house. Let him make some spoons first, and we'll build up to it.
No, a cob house looks awesome. We go look at that. We go look at a cob house first. Look at that. Supremely doable.
Just quickly before we move on, Johnny Not Powell says, yes, Joe, a few solar panels, a car battery and a linear rail, some pipe, an A-time switch, crops water themselves. That's an incredibly good idea, and definitely one we'll look into. Because as we know, food is going to be the currency of choice in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So Francis has gone a little bit further than a cob house, an Anglo-Saxon longhouse.
Could print like a little model one.
Well, again,
to be fair, I have seen a 3D printed house.
It's as important to design as to build, isn't it? You've got to start somewhere. Roy has a nice comment for you, Jordan. These Jordan makes things that need mending live streams are going to get increasingly tense as the equipment gets increasingly more dangerous. Hey, you survived the Whitland stream. We're going to be just fine.
The Whitland stream was the dangerous stream. Everything else is baby mode, for Christ's sake. What can I do? I can just shock myself a couple dozen times. It's fine.
The Shire is real. Beer Hall, yes, you can contact us on the website. You can drop us a line on Telegram. The website link, I'll drop that in the chat now, actually.
Well done. While you do that, I will talk about some NEMA motors. These are stepper motors. And the thing about these, there is a standard called NEMA, and I can't remember what the hell it stands for off the top of my head. But basically what it means is, if you have a NEMA 17 motor, you will always be able to find something that fits, because the 17 designation is just the faceplate. So you can get a NEMA 17 motor that is 3 times larger than another NEMA 17 motor. Doesn't matter, so long as you can get the appropriate faceplate. From what I've looked into, NEMA 23s are significantly more powerful when you start getting the larger sizes. You can get NEMA 17 motors that are of the same power as a NEMA 23, and the NEMA 23 will be smaller and all the rest of that. It's fine, whatever. The thing is, the great, wonderful thing about these, though, is if it breaks, all you need to do is just buy a new one and then put it in, and off and away you go once again. These are remarkably cheap. And in terms of the battle between NEMA 17 and NEMA 23, when it comes to what we're dealing with a 3D printer, I don't see any benefit. If we was doing something more rigorous, not rigorous, sorry, more challenging, I suppose, but cutting through difficult materials, for example, then I would get the bigger motor. As things stand, I think the smaller motor will suffice, especially considering they are significantly cheaper. So yes, that is the plan on the motor front. I will find some prices for these as well, actually, while I'm here. Joe, carry me.
They look reasonably inexpensive.
Yeah, they're about 16 quid.
I mean, you can see there's quite a range there.
Yeah, they're about 16 quid. As I said, they're not expensive by any stretch of the imagination. You can get them bigger and smaller and all the rest of that. But yeah, so long as it is a NEMA 17 motor, it will always fit into the NEMA 17 housing. In the future, we could upgrade it and we could get a NEMA 23 or even larger. I think it's 34 is the next one. And then we start getting into the big boys.
So when you say getting into the big boys, what kind of, you're talking about obviously difference in power. What kind of price difference would that be?
I think stepper motors go up to the extreme amounts of money. But in terms of what we're doing here, I think the difference, which I'm just about to pull up, is It's significant enough.
Okay. Or maybe something for the far, far future then.
There we go. Right, here we go. NEMA 23, they start at 24 quid as opposed to the NEMA 17s, which starts at 9.
Okay, that's actually much less than I was expecting.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not, 24 quid. It's not a bad price by any stretch of the imagination. It is, on the other hand, I just think it's too powerful, basically. So we could get the weakest version of this, or the smallest version, not weakest. We could get the least powerful version of the NEMA 23s, and that way in the future we can just upgrade and get a bigger one if needed. But I very much doubt it will be.
Barn Door is concerned that you're going to end up with a Hadron Collider.
If only. If only.
Oh, take care, Steve.
See you, mate.
I don't think we're going to punch a hole into the atmosphere. Not the atmosphere. Oh, for goodness sake, my brain.
Andrew's comment is so good.
NEMA 17 sounds like a Korean boy band. Well,
there was a couple of things about this, actually, but I will click on the individual motors and then we can have a look at them. I didn't want quick view, although oddly enough, quick view would have been just fine. I didn't realise they come in various different guises. They come in 1.8 degrees and 0.9 degrees. What this translates to is what one step is. Because the way that a stepper motor is, unlike a normal motor, when you plug it in, it will just spin contently. With a stepper motor, they go in literal steps. It does not move smoothly. Even when it rotates all the way around, as far as the motor is concerned, that is not one fluid movement. It is going from 1 or 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock to
right, so
2 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Then.
It's not jerky at all, no. But as far as the machine is concerned, it is jerky. It's just doing it really, really quickly.
Gotcha.
And what this degree is about is how much one step is. So 1.8 is, I'm not going to say quite large, but 1.8, that is going to move twice as quickly as this here, or with half the accuracy, I should say.
Johnny Not Power says, from my limited understanding, it's a screw gear motor. I don't know anything about this, so I'm fielding that one to you, Jordan.
I don't think it is. Let's have a look. I don't know why I'm copying such a simple phrase. That's very weird. My brain sometimes. I don't believe it is internal. Maybe wrong. Just look up a screw gear motor as well while I'm at it.
Thank you, Roy. Always helpful.
You'll have to read it.
He says fight.
But by screw gear motor, do you mean worm gear motor? Because if that's what you meant, because that's what's popping up for screw gear motor, then no, they're not the same thing. But I don't think that's what you mean.
No, Roy's grabbing popcorn.
You put it on it. That's the real question.
Hey,
See, this is the sort of thing that I want to get into making. This looks bloody interesting. Or at the very least, restoring. What, a worm gear motor?
Yeah.
Is that something that needs to turn?
Well, I meant traditionally, what is it used for?
I'm not actually sure. They just kind of go into things. I'm not terribly sure. I think really the useful part of a worm gear motor is you're able to put it into a smaller space. So, for example, here, because of the way it works, you've got the motor here spinning, but the output shaft is going horizontal to it. It's not like this. where it is going in a line. You could well imagine that there's going to be some places where you need a motor, but you don't have this amount of room. You don't have the room to have the motor pointing in that direction, and then the machinery itself off over here has to be to the side. I think that's pretty much how they're used. I may be wrong, but that's what I believe they're used for.
Johnny Not Powell says, I might have meant worm, but screw was in my head, no pun. Will, I'm right there with you. He says, I'm glad a few people here are good with this kind of tech because I'm not. I'm completely lost, Will, honestly.
I find it really genuinely interesting. I look forward to getting some massive pieces of machinery and then fixing them. That's the aim.
So Francis is there with us.
Starting with a 3D printer.
We'll have to build up some kind of noob club, I think. Okay, so what other parts can you think of initially then that are going to be on the list?
Well, everything will be on the list. You want to build it, you can hardly skip a part, can you?
No, I know.
The other bits and bobs are just common sense things, so like the limit switch. That's basically so you don't go too far to the left or too far to the right or just too far in general. But that's nice and easy. Does his website have some?
What a great name. Ooze Nest.
They have a lot of this sort of stuff, actually. These are probably the people I'm going to be buying as much of this from as possible. Do they have a limit switch? I do not see one there. End stops. There you go. They do not. There you go. That's an end stop. Micro limit switch. Dirt cheap, as per all electronics. Electronics are incredibly cheap. They're remarkably cheap. But there you go. As you can see, it will just come along. It will bump into that, and then it will just break the current, and that's it. It will stop moving.
I don't know who you should complain to, Sarah, but if you find out, let me know.
What was the next part? The next part of this was going to be a discussion on the transmission, which the belt, basically. The belt is I'm not going to say common sense, but you need a belt. you need it to move. The only real thing about the belt is driven by the motors, so by those NEMA 17s that I was talking about a moment ago. On top of those, you just put a little cog or a little and it wouldn't be a cog, it would be a gear. Sorry, you'd put you put a gear on, and that would drive the belt. And then you have.
Sorry.
Then you just have a system where you have bearings and toothless. I'm not sure what they'd be called actually, but you just have a system of some more gears spread around the machine, and that would help move it.
So David says there are cheap DIY printer kits available. Maybe get one to understand the principles and then go large.
I could. I don't think that's as much fun.
No, it kind of. The point was to set up a challenge, and
the point is mainly to show that you don't need them. They do definitely exist, and they are very, very good quality. Very good quality. Let's take a look at some.
Oh, just quickly, back to the worm drive. Johnny Not Powell said, I fixed my boiler that had a step motor built into the diverter valve. I took the old one apart, although it was a stepper motor. Internally, it was a worm drive. Jordan is correct. Thank you for that, Johnny Not Powell. It still doesn't mean anything to me, but I do appreciate you clarifying.
I'm just amazed that I was right for once.
Oh, have we lost English Will? Apparently English Will in France is not having good weather. So come back soon.
Bloody France. Anyway, getting back to this. The Ender 3 is a wonderful machine. Nothing wrong with it at all. Could certainly start with this. It's kind of an interesting point. I certainly wouldn't complain starting with something like this, but I'm not sure if that's really interesting, basically. Because then it's just a case of buying this and then showing you guys how I maintain it. And then you're limited by its capabilities as well. So you've got things that can only do 22 by 22 centimeters. That might be fine, but it's not quite the same as getting something that can do 40.
Plus, if you buy a machine, you're going to lose motivation to make one, surely.
No, I don't think so, because what would happen is
Well, not
you'd get
you.
frustrated with little bits and bobs, and you'd think, hey, you know what, no, I'm going to make one after all.
Yeah. It would be interesting, though, to have the machine, I suppose, for a comparison, once the project is completed. But the reality is, I think, by making it yourself, I think you'll have a greater understanding of its principles and its potential. And, we've already looked into the ability to modify these machines. So I'm more interested now for this project in the journey rather than the goal. Because my understanding of this kind of stuff is zero. So I'm going to learn a hell of a lot watching these streams coming up once you start building it.
If it makes you feel any better, my understanding of this is zero as well.
No. You're not on a par with me.
Well, I'll agree with that. But
truly potato brain. You are. Well, I'm mash brain. You still got the raw potato. You've got the potential to understand things. My brain's already cooked. Bandor agrees. There you go. Learn more from making. I do appreciate the comment though, Daffyd. Yes, it is pragmatic, but this is not something that there's no time limit on this. It's not about speed. So yeah, it just won't be as much fun.
Yeah, the entire, once again, the entire purpose of all of these projects is to learn as you go along. Just buying something and then learning how to use it, that's fine. But learning how to put it together, doing all that sort of stuff, that is, in and of itself, a very, very interesting thing to do.
It has to as well, surely, give you an advantage when it comes to maintenance, that you've built it.
Yeah, because you know what's wrong. And that's always a good thing. If you know what's wrong, you can fix it. Plus, in the future, who knows what we can do with it. If you buy one, you're kind of stuck with what it is. As I said earlier on, I'm very, very interested in turning this into into things like a laser cutter. I don't know how possible that's going to be, but I'm interested in at least seeing if it is possible. I'm interested in seeing if we can turn it into a CNC router. Router? Which one? My brain. Router. There we go.
Yeah. No, it's router, actually. For that one thing, it's router. Johnny Not Pal says, I always say, if you don't try, you'll never understand failure. Absolutely agree. Daffyd was clarifying, he meant the DIY build kit. So you don't...
Oh, there are definitely loads of them. If genuinely, if you want to go down the route and you want to build something like this, and you don't want to go to the hassle of working it all out, this Railcore people, these are the ones who gave me the idea of the XY motion, the XY configuration. They've got everything you need. They've got bill of materials, they've got a Fusion 360 model, they've got an assembly guide as well. That's about 20 odd pages. You can buy it all. You can either buy it ready assembled or ship it in, like bits and bobs, or you can just go through all of this and find them. Excellent. They've done an absolutely excellent job. They're a really top-notch job.
These people are essentially us. They've learned a skill, they've honed their skill, and they're sharing it with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done them. Will says just assembling one of these looks like it would take a week. I suspect it would take quite a while, especially when you consider Jordan doesn't want to jip anyone out of this experience. So he's actually only going to assemble it on the streams.
Yeah. What will probably happen is there's going to be multiple long streams, but they're not going to be in the normal make, do, amend slot. They're probably going to be over a weekend or something.
Oh, Daffyd says there's a long runner kit, £54, good for you to build on next week's stream. There you go.
What is long runner?
I don't know. Long runner kit, £54. Do you have a link to a website or something, David, for that, please? And we'll have a look. Yeah,
Long runner watch repair.
Yeah, we understand what you meant. It's a really good idea, actually.
Ooh, I think I found it. It's a toy. It's a robo toy.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, it has wheels. Jordan's already sold.
It moves. They eyeball. They are eyeballs.
So it's a robot kit, car, smart DIY, learning starter kit, intelligent robotics. Well, I see the word intelligence in there. I'm out. Oh, this is not the right thing, apparently. David says if you Google a 3D printer kit, you should find it. Although that does look fun. Watchmakers are incredibly clever. I don't understand how they just... The parts are so small and delicate and intricate. Yeah, truly have respect for them.
Oh, absolutely. We're just going to look up 3D printer kits.
And that's a skill that we can never afford to lose. I like the idea of these old clocks, grandfather clocks. There's something comforting about the tick-tock of an analog clock. My grandparents always had a ticking clock. And I don't know, it's reassuring. It's a reminder
I've been
of better
put off
times.
of cuckoo clocks because my nan is one of those absolutely demonic people who has 40 of them.
Oh no, not the cuckoos.
And none of them are in time. And it's absolutely heinous. It is a proper war crime, let me tell you. It's real bad sometimes.
Well, on the bright side, when you don't make a gun using a 3D printer because that's entirely illegal, you could shoot the cuckoo. There you go.
You got so bloody many of them, I'm not sure you'd be able to get enough bullets. You have to aim them up
Buckshot.
Here you go, 200. This is actually a good price. I don't know the quality of it, but that is a good price. And as you can see, this is built in the same way that I'm going on about, where the base acts as the Z-axis. I haven't said that. I'd like to zoom in to make sure. Yeah, that's acting as the Z-axis.
So it's space as well, isn't it? And I understand your reasoning for not having the back and full slider at the bottom, because it's going to take up just extra space that you don't really have to spare.
Okay, here's a question, mate. This I would say 30 by 30. That's pretty damn decent. Not entirely sure that's as big as I would have wanted.
Well, what kind of size were you looking for?
I don't know. I was thinking around like 40, 50.
Well, your average appliance is 60 by 60, right? Here in the UK, anyway.
Is it?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, washing machine, cooker. It's about 60 by 60. I'm not sure about the height. Probably 80, maybe 90 centimetres. So
I don't do centimetres.
Oh, I can't stand that everything's done in millimetres. Just for goodness sake.
Millimetres are nasty.
Just drop the 0 and call them centimetres. For goodness sake. Oh, it's 90. Daffy has confirmed.
The thing that annoys me, when you go to B&Q and you go to buy wood and it's like 2,700 millimetres.
Yeah, why don't you just call it 270 centimetres and save time?
Call it 2.7 metres.
Or even
give
that.
Him feet.
Or even that. Philistines.
Exactly. Damn bloody B&Q. Can't stand them.
Trouble is, this comes from the woodworking industry itself. It works in millimetres because it's a more precise measurement.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't. It is not more precise.
Millimetres are...
Measurement is not precision. What you mean, it is more...
Precise?
No, there is a word I'm looking for here.
I mean precise.
The measurements are more granular, but that only applies down to a certain level. When you start getting into thou, no, microns are not good. Microns are stupid.
Oh, don't even speak to me about that stupid measurement.
I'm very tall and measured in millimeters. Joe, do this.
The funny
do it
thing,
from now on.
the funny thing, Roy, so am I. It's amazing. It's the only time ever.
What would you be, like 1,000 millimeters?
Oh, I don't know. I still use feet and inches. I don't use centimeters for height.
No. Nor kilograms for weight.
Oh God,
74
no.
kilograms.
I don't even know what these things mean.
I don't know what 74 kilograms is. The way that I have to handle 74 kilograms or kilograms in general, I have to multiply it by 2 and then divide by 14. Marble machine. Okay, love, we will search marble machine. I'm coming back to that thing that's on the screen at the moment, but don't worry, I'm searching.
Oh, this is Sarah's comment. Let me just go back to that.
Oh, you mean that thing? Yes.
There
This is
you go.
wonderful. The geezer's built a fantastic YouTube channel based around his musical instrument.
Oh, goodness.
It's genuinely fascinating to watch. The way that it works is he just puts marbles in at the top and then it's all mechanical.
I
and it
love
plays
these
songs.
things.
It's fascinating.
I love anything that includes like a marble run or a dominoes run.
Yeah, what he has done is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It does look like it's made out of human skeletons, though. Just saying.
That just makes it look cool.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, as I was saying, what we could do, we could either buy something, which is fine, and we look around and we get a good deal and we get a great one. We can either buy something and then focus really heavily on how to use it and focus on that for a good long while, work out all the problems with it, work out how we could make it better and all the rest of that jazz, and then build one. Or we can go straight into building one blind.
Oh, you know which way I'm going to go.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't mind either way. I'm quite interested in showing off showing off is not the appropriate term. I'm quite interested in printing in doing the design side of things. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'm not very good at that sort of thing at all. So if you think my technical knowledge fails me, just you wait until you see some of the designs.
This is why other people make the designs. Send it to Jordan, he'll print it for you.
Well, yeah, but then at that point you're just pressing go, ain't you? Bit bored. But yeah, well, we could certainly do it that way around. As I said, I'm good either way. Doesn't bother me which way we want to go.
I've made a note of that, by the way, Ben Mew. Thank you very much. Marbula1 on YouTube.
Oh, Marbula1 is so good.
Oh, there you go.
But I didn't see that comment. Marbula1 is amazing. Oh, 1 minute.
How did I not know you already knew of this?
I'm not sure if this is embarrassing or the most awesome thing ever. It's fantastic. Basically, it is Formula 1, but with marbles.
Oh, my God.
It's so good. And the geezer does wonderful commentary over it. It's actually hilarious. It's such a good time.
Oh, definitely.
As you can see, like he's got proper tracks and everything. He had one outside on the beach. There you go. Look at brilliant. That sand rally. It's absolutely fantastic.
That's wonderful.
It genuinely, it really is. It's so good.
Barn Door has a challenge for you.
Oh yes. What, Marbula1 blindfold? I could do that, no worries at all.
I don't think that's what he meant. And Roy says, no test run, all in for the win. Yes, indeed. Ben Mew says, it's really good for my kids. My son loves it. It's just one of those fascinating things that you could watch forever and ever. Jordan obviously watched this. I'd never heard of it, so thank you very much for sharing that.
It's so good. It really is. But getting back to the question at hand. as I said, we could either buy one or make one. I'm good either way. I think what we should do is run a poll next week. We should look into the electronics next week.
Well, yes.
Either which way, at the moment, we're just laying out the basic principle of what it is. We're not buying anything. We're not looking to buy anything just yet. We're just laying out the general gist behind stuff.
Well, that's true. And this is the community project.
Exactly.
And we try, wherever possible, to make this interactive so that you are invested in this as much as we are. So, yes, I think a poll would be a good idea.
I fully agree. That kind of sums up all of the physical things. I was going to say technical things, but no, that sums up all the physical things. Next time it is the electronics that we're looking at. And that, to be honest, a bit lost on that one. The electrical side of this is going to be interesting, and I'm not confident on that at all.
Yes, but, trial and error, we'll get there. Sarah,
Agreed.
yes, we looked up the marble machine, lovey. I don't know if you've looked away or missed it. But yes, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. Johnny Not Powell says, I miss the old the marble countertops at my old house. I guess I just took them for granted. We've really missed your jokes. We're so glad you're back. Yeah, that wasn't your best work, by the way.
That was pretty good.
Sometimes a joke is so corny, it's hilarious in itself.
No, that was good.
But Barndor says, anyone ever timed out a moderator? Lol. Not yet.
No, that isn't entirely true. I did time out Andrew once.
Oh, but that was an accident. Andrew was innocent, I'm telling you. Innocent. Oh, there you go, Daffyd. Now we're talking. Print me a Johnny Not joke book, says Daffyd. You'll have to get in the queue behind me because I want the first look. Johnny Not Powell says, build bad jokes better. Yes, sometimes John's jokes are D-Live exclusive. Sometimes they're a little bit naughty, but always funny. It wouldn't be the same without you, John. Will says they took John's marble countertops and started driving them around a track on YouTube.
That Marbula one is genuinely awesome.
I can't believe you've never told me about this.
So incredibly German.
I can't believe you've never shared this with me.
Hey,
You've been holding out on me. Yes, we will. So there you go. That's what we've got so far. As always, thank you for the really great comments. The comments that we get in the chats, honestly, really just make these streams. It would not
make it interesting. Otherwise, it would be, boring and dry, just going through technical specifications. Yeah. I didn't even get into the technical specifications of the drivetrain. I thought to myself, no, the belt aspect is going to be boring as all hell, so I just skip that. I'll save that for my knowledge. You don't need to worry about it.
I think that should be a make do and men stream, that one.
I'll be completely fair. Like the belt aspect, I'm just going to, when it comes time to building it, I might cover it then. Failing that, no, because it is dry. Very dry.
Yeah, there's only so much wittering away I can do to myself, while you're going through that technical stuff. You have to keep prodding me to make sure I'm awake.
That's what I had to do a couple of times earlier on.
We'll get there. I just think some of this stuff is just the male domain, and that's perfectly fine because newsflash, men and women are not the same. We don't have the same interests in every case.
But some of it is just certain people, basically. That, as could possibly be gleaned earlier on, much more interested in heavy machinery than this sort of thing. This here is a means to an end. I am excited about this. I'm very interested in it, but it's a tool. It's not. It's not something that I'm ever going to love. It's not something that I'm ever going to be extremely, extremely, extremely interested in as a hobby.
No,
This
but
here,
the
this
potential for what you
functional
can do
thing.
with this machine is what's exciting.
Exactly. This is a functional thing. This is a project to learn and improve. Because things like the stepper motors, for example, knowing how to use those properly is going to come in use for down the line. Because then, when we want to make a large scale CNC machine, like a CNC router, done.
Can I just place a future order now for a marble machine, because that's fascinating.
No,
Damn.
you can go make one.
No, I'd be too busy baking in the kitchen and making sandwiches. What are you talking
Well,
about?
to be fair, you are getting good at bread, so
I've nailed bread. I'm so pleased.
you're doing very well on the bread front.
I found an excellent recipe for truly soft sandwich bread, and I'm over the moon. John's jokes matter. There you go. These are the kind of things we should be protesting. Damn it. These are the important things in life. Roy's suggesting, I'll do like a bit of Back to the Future. The 3D printer is merely a stepping stone towards a working flux capacitor. We just need some, was it uranium?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get that. So we'll go to, like, I don't know, Amazon Marketplace or Facebook or something. I'm sure there'll be some somewhere. Pick it up. Get a right bargain. It's probably in your food.
Well, it's in bananas.
Well, there you go. If I just send Jordan a banana, start straining them. And a big sieve. There you go, job done.
Problem solved. But Joe's gone delirious, so.
No, that was funny. Anyway, yes. Back to being serious.
I believe that was it for this, or at least for today.
Yeah, there's a lot of prep involved, obviously. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. All joking aside, that was actually incredibly fascinating. And
once again, imagine how much more fascinating it's going to be when we get onto something like a CNC machine or a lathe or a milling machine. Oh, heck yeah, we can then go into the wonderful physics of gears. How to make gears, that'd be amazing.
Wonderful.
Oh, you wouldn't believe. I'm so excited for those days. I desperately want to find like an old, I'm not going to say like a broken one, but I want to find one on eBay or somewhere like that. Buy it, shove it in the shed, fix it up, clean it up, make it work, and then start making stuff. It's going to be so good.
This is the problem, chat with Jordan. Once he gets a bee in his bonnet about something, nothing will stop him. He'll have enough excitement for all of you. You really, really do inspire us. And I hope in turn we inspire you. What a fantastic community we have. And what a fantastic project this will be. I can't wait for it to really start. I mean, the physical building of it. I'm so looking forward to that. So, yes, can't wait. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for your input this evening. Thank you, everyone who's joined us on Odyssey. For some reason, as we mentioned on the last stream, we've been stuck at around 1.1k viewers on YouTube. So I think we're pretty dead as a channel on YouTube. For some reason, we're not growing on DLive either. But if we can really get people over to Odyssey, if we can get people over to the website, if we can get people using the radio when they're out and about, fantastic. We can just make this a really relevant, useful, productive community. And that benefits each and every one of us. So thank you so much. Oh, Colonel Custer's just been making bread. I'll put some pictures up of my bread and I'll share the recipe with you.
Please do.
But yes, thank you, everyone. Have a very good evening. We are back tomorrow for Your Opinion Sucks. And yes, we hope you enjoy that show too. So we'll see you at 7:30. Thank you very much, Jordan, for all your hard work this evening.
No worries. I enjoyed it a great deal.
Okay, take care, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.
Philomena's kindly just popped the links to Odyssey in the chat, by the way.
Thank you, love.
So if you're not already following us there, please do. Thank you again. Bye for now. Take care.